The Apprentice star Baroness Karren Brady, 53, has slammed the Tories over the way they have handled the strikes carried out by nurses across the country this week. The business executive has even claimed that the government are damaging the NHS with their actions. A staggering 100,000 nurses are estimated to be striking this week for the first time in the history of the NHS. Baroness Brady began by pointing out how ironic it was that we were clapping for those same nurses during the pandemic, as she argued that they now feel betrayed after all they have done for this country. She went on to praise the selfless angels for their tireless efforts, before noting the damage the government was causing to the NHS by not giving them a substantial pay rise. While staff in different hospitals have made different decisions about striking, I'm certain they are all in total agreement that the government's 4% pay offer isn't only insulting, but actually damaging to the NHS, she penned in her latest column. Baroness Brady noted that, while the demand for a 19% pay rise might be unrealistic, the nurses are mainly interested in being treated with respect. She added that the Scottish government was able to prevent strike action with a sensible offer of between 7.5% and 11%. The entrepreneur also pointed out that the NHS is a special case when it comes to this month's strike action, and called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to take the issue seriously. The desperately low morale of the people we rely on to prop it up is endangering its very existence, she warned. Disillusioned nurses are leaving in droves. Following the announcement that NHS nurses would be going on strike due to low pay, health unions offered to call off the walkouts that began this Thursday. Their condition was that Health Secretary Steve Barclay agreed to hold negotiations on pay, but the minister refused. Karren compared nursing strikes to the rail strikes during her column for The Sun, suggesting that they were not of equal importance. "We're not dealing with Mick Lynch's RMT here, whose members already rake in an average £44,000 a year, 25% more than the average nurse," she wrote. This week we've seen heartbreaking stories of NHS staff surviving on patients' leftovers, but I've yet to hear about rail workers wolfing down passengers' leftover kebabs. Karren also argued that while support for the RMT strikes was melting away, the public was still behind the nurses on strike. The union is currently demanding a pay rise of 5% above the RPI rate of inflation, which was 14.2% in October, but Pat Cullen, General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, has hinted that she could compromise if the government negotiates on pay. Ministers have repeatedly insisted they can't afford to give inflation-busting pay rises and say they have accepted the Independent Pay Review Body's recommendation of a £1,400 rise. On Monday night she told Sky News, "I needed to come out of this meeting with something serious to show nurses why they should not strike this week. Regrettably, they are not getting an extra penny." She also said that Mr. Barclay showed total belligerence this afternoon. "He closed his books and walked away. I did most of the talking, there was very little talking coming from the other side of the table, except to keep repeating to me that he has accepted the Independent Pay Review Body recommendation," she added. Last night, union leaders threatened a fresh wave of more severe strikes in the new year in which nurses would offer less generous support inside hospitals, with more hospitals and more nurses taking part than at present if the government refused to back down.